Hi, my name is Andrew Howell, and I got this email from my wife Karen, who got it from our neighbor Kaylee, who got this email from her friend Brienne, which is all about something called beer casting. That was the subject line, which got my attention because I like beer. Casting is not something I've ever done, so I'm sorry if this is done, maybe it's a bit long. Or done incorrectly, but this is all kind of new to me. But it happens, I do have a little free time these days, and so why not send in this video? I'm 49 years old, and I've lived here in Maplewood for 12 or 13 years. From Washington, D.C. Originally, but lived several places over the years, quite a number of years abroad in the UK, in London. Also lived in Russia for a few years, and I've had quite an international job, well, up until a few weeks ago. Now I'm what's known as between jobs, but for 17 years I was a Wall Street stock analyst with a big bank. And as it happens, one of the sectors I looked at was beer. So I was especially excited about a beer casting. I look at beer in emerging markets, beer producers, so I know a lot about the beer market in Africa, Nigeria or Kenya. I could tell you all about that. I don't know too much about beer market in New Jersey, except that I do love to drink beer. And I can tell you that the beer in New Jersey is a lot better than the beer in Nigeria. Nothing against it, just it's all lager and quite boring stuff. So if this is a beer commercial about your very basic plain envelope lager, then I might not be able to say too many positive things about it. Now, how would my friends describe me? I'm probably not the center of the party kind of guy. I'm a bit more, maybe let's say, introspective. I have some kind of quirky interests. I like music from all around the world, as well as classical and jazz music. I've got a hobby in African statues. I love bicycles, lots of different types of bicycles, including some quite unusual ones acquired abroad. I love to talk to people, though, and especially not in big groups, but maybe smaller, just to learn about what people really makes them passionate about the world and trying to understand it better, because let's face it, the world's kind of a confusing place these days. What do I do for fun? Well, I mentioned a couple of those things. I'm getting back into tennis, and this maybe takes me to one of the amazing things about Maplewood, because I've started playing tennis in a league and gotten to know a lot of the people, and I'm just like, day after day, this is a fabulous community. I mean, of all the places I've lived, I wouldn't want to change, and now that I'm looking at new job possibilities, I'm very reluctant to even consider leaving. It's the diversity here. Not that many people around here actually from New Jersey. They're all kind of come from all around, different backgrounds and interests, but they all really want to be here, and partially because of this kind of great sort of mixing that we have here, but also the proximity to New Jersey to New York is phenomenal, and I love the city, greatest city in the world. It was great when I was working in Tribeca. That was phenomenal, an amazing experience. Do I cook at home? The answer is yes, more and more now. I'm actually in charge of lots of household chores that I didn't know too much about before, so I'm learning all about cooking, and cooking is very time-consuming, and shopping, all that stuff. It's really I'm getting up the curve. It's great. I'm loving it, actually. More time with my kids, who are age 10 and 11. That's a fabulous thing. Seeing my wife a bit more, and she's probably happy that I'm kind of kicking in a bit more of kind of sweat equity into this household enterprise. But I must say that this Blue Apron and HelloFresh and that this is key. This is key to my survival so far, as I'm kind of getting adapted to being in the kitchen more, which is quite fun. Yeah, I drink beer. I like beer. Nothing over like 60 IBU, please. Let's not overdo it on the hops. But I'm a big fan, and it's incredible. Actually, drinking local beer as you travel around is one of the funnest things you can do. I would say yes. I know a lot of my neighbors, and they're phenomenal people. We're very blessed, I think, to be in this particular block. I mean, I'm sure there are lots of great blocks, but we seem particularly to have quite a lot of people similar age in terms of the kids, and there's lots of interaction and good fun here. Um, so you just maybe ask them for a joke. I'm not going to have a joke for you, and that's fitting with my personality. I'm not the guy who tells jokes at parties. But I will tell you a funny, embarrassing thing that's happened to me. Okay, as a parent, maybe as just as a dad, and also as the host of Thanksgiving. This is kind of a story in family lore. We were running a little bit late in terms of preparing for a large party, 19 people I had to feed. I had to do this thing called spatchcocking, which involves removing the backbone of the turkey. We had two of them. We ran out of space in the oven, so I went across the street. We borrowed our neighbor's oven. They were away. We had all this stuff in there. You got to blast it to get it ready in time. So it's like 400 degrees. And then I walked out, and the door closed behind me. The keys were not right there next to the oven, and I was locked out of the house. No way to break into this house. We tried, believe me, got a ladder up on the roof and everything. Meanwhile, the turkeys were like about to catch fire. And it was kind of imagining the worst case scenario, which is a burnt down house. In the end, we managed to find our friends, neighbors had given the keys to a guy who lived way across town. He fortunately was around, managed to get them before the turkeys were in total flames. But it was kind of a crazy afternoon that Thanksgiving a few years ago. Anyway, I hope that's enough to get a sense. This sounds like a fun project. I'm, again, between jobs, so $500 sounds good too. Hope to hear from you, and thanks a lot. Good luck.